What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we got a good handful of information on things that we can expect for Season 3 of Battlefield 6, including the official release date, which is May 12th. And let's just dive right into this. The first thing is they started it off with the new map that's coming with Season 3, and this is Railway to Golmud, which is heavily based on Golmud Railway from Battlefield 4. And they actually did a deep dive on this a couple days back. I didn't really feel like it was worth making an entire video on, so I can just sort of share my opinions on this here. With this map, they have made quite a few adjustments to give a lot more room for infantry play, and that was my biggest gripe with this map back in Battlefield 4, is it just felt like a vehicle map that was designed for vehicle versus vehicle play, and then anybody that was dumb enough to try to play as infantry would likely just get farmed by those vehicles. And especially as somebody that prefers to play as an infantry player, I really didn't like that map back in the day, so I'm very happy to see that they've introduced a lot more room for infantry combat. But overall, this is still going to be a very large and fairly open map, so it still looks like vehicles will be able to excel on this map. They're just not going to be quite as dominant as they were back in Battlefield 4. So I'm actually really looking forward to hopping onto this map with the launch of Season 3. Then, of course, we do have Cairo Bazaar coming later in the season, and that's going to be heavily based on Grand Bazaar. Next for Season 3, they outlined some changes that they're going to be making to the mortars. And this is in response to a lot of the feedback that they've been getting since they made the change to allow mortars to be deployed within your spawn areas, so you could deploy them where you were completely safe from a line of sight from enemy players. And that has massively spiked their usage and really made for a lot of very frustrating matches, especially when you had multiple people on a team using mortars in spawn. It just creates so much frustration with the gameplay and totally changed up how that match would flow. So in response to that, they're still allowing you to deploy the mortars in spawn. However, there's a couple key changes they're making here. The first thing is you will no longer regenerate ammo when you have an active instance of the mortar deployed. So you can't just sit on there forever and just have infinite ammo constantly replenishing itself while you're just sitting on that mortar. And then another interesting change here, which I actually quite like the sounds of, is your accuracy will be decreasing at longer ranges. So that should encourage people with mortars to push up a little bit at least. And even if they are still in their spawn zone, maybe they have to get a little more risky with that and push up to an area where maybe it's possible to get a line of sight on them if they want more accuracy with those mortars. So on paper at least, this is sounding good. It looks like it's going to help keep those mortars in check again, and it may discourage multiple people from just sitting in spawn with mortars all game long. But of course, time's going to tell on how that ends up playing out. Next up, they had a section on vehicle updates, but with this, they basically just said they're going to have more information to share. They're going to have a dedicated blog on vehicle play. They didn't really get into any specifics with this particular blog. Then after that, they talked about the ping system a bit, and one of the key changes they're making here is there's going to be reduced input delay on pinging, and that's excellent. The current level of input delay on that can definitely make pings feel very clunky and sometimes inaccurate as well. If there's a lot of movement going on, it can be hard to get that timing just right to ping the proper location while still staying on the move. They're also making adjustments to reduce unintentional ping cancels. And I think part of that actually goes in with the input delay, because sometimes you hit the ping button and nothing happens, so you hit it again, and then it registers both those inputs, so then afterwards it pings and then cancels that ping. And then they're just also going to be improving how the pings are presented in combat. So danger and location pings will be streamlined to use the same shape, but different colors, and that will just help reduce visual clutter and make callouts easier to read during combat. And these all sound like some nice improvements to the ping system. After that, I was really excited to see they had a section on matchmaking here. I thought they were going to dive deep into some details on what they're going to be changing with matchmaking or the areas they're looking to improve. But unfortunately, all they basically said here is improvements to improve match availability and overall experience are coming. But that's about as much as we got details-wise. They were very vague about this. I don't know exactly what they're targeting with these matchmaking adjustments. My hope is that we're going to be seeing fewer bot-filled matches, and also just better ping values on average, not only for yourself, but the other people in your lobby as well, trying to get all those ping values closer together. I'm personally willing to wait a bit longer in matchmaking to make that happen, because as of right now, you still find matches like instantly, but often that means that it's just creating a brand new lobby that then takes a long time to fill up, when I think if they were to just wait a little bit longer, they'd have fewer people creating all these brand new lobbies that then need to get filled with bots, and there'd be more time for those lobbies to actually fill with real players, instead of just creating new lobbies for those real players that are trying to search for a match. Overall, though, we're just going to have to wait to see what comes of this, because again, they were just super vague with this section. However, they did also reiterate here that they are working on a server browser and persistent servers, but that's something they just recently announced, and based on the speed of their development, I definitely don't expect to see this in Season 3, and honestly, I'd be a little bit surprised if we even see it in Season 4. But we'll see on that. Maybe they will surprise me here. As for the next section, though, they talked about a playlist structure update. So basically the main menu, it's going to have the same general look and structure, which is unfortunate because I hate that horizontal scrolling and everything. And I know many others agree with me on that one. But they did say that there will be at least less horizontal scrolling because they're going to be reorganizing the presentation a little bit and optimizing its presentation. And the key thing here is the first row, instead of being the featured row, is now going to be a new row called Quickplay. And this row is going to highlight modes based on your play history and preferences. So it's basically going to put your most played modes right at the top there, making it really easy to find your most played modes and hop in. And honestly, while I would prefer to see just a full redesign of this, since I just don't like the general look and structure of the menu to begin with, I do think this is going to be a nice step in the right direction. I just hate how much I have to scroll around just to find regular breakthrough, for instance, which is the mode I play like 90% of the time, and yet I still have to hunt to find it. So with this quick play feature, that should be popping up front and center for me every single time when I first boot up the game. And that's great to see as well. Also, another thing I haven't really liked with their menus is it seems like they just reorganize them on a whim. So even if you do get really good at finding where that mode is that you want to play, who knows if that's where it's going to be after the next update. You have to relearn that constantly. So while I see this change as kind of a band-aid fix to just poor UI in general, I still think it's going to be a very nice quality of life improvement over what we've currently got. Then when it comes to REDSEC, I'm just going to give a higher level overview since I'm not personally that interested in REDSEC, and I know most of my audience doesn't really care about it as well. But with this, they're going to be introducing more vehicle counterplay, and there will be some vehicle nerfs in there as well. They're also nerfing the recon drone zoom level and cooldown. They also confirmed Ranked Battle Royale is coming in Season 3, and Solos will be coming later in Season 3, so not at launch, but it's eventually coming at least, finally. How many months after launch? And then in the final section, they just talked about Portal a little bit. They did confirm that Golmud won't be available right at launch with Season 3 in the Portal experience, and instead that's going to be coming later in the season. However, Cairo Bazaar will be added immediately once it's added to the game later in Season 3. So likely both of those maps will come at the same time in Portal mid-season. And then they did also mention with Portal that we're finally going to be getting all of the Season 2 hardware added to Portal once Season 3 launches. And there we have it. That's pretty much everything that revealed here today. Although there's one last thing I wanted to point out. I just thought I'd tag this in. I was going to do a dedicated video, but it really would have just felt like a filler video. Something that people have noticed is they started offering pre-orders for the Battle Pass in the next season. So you can literally go and buy the Season 3 Battle Pass now, even though we're still in Season 2. And this is obviously getting dunked on quite a bit by the community. It seems like a very strange move where it's bound to attract a ton of negative attention, and I'm not sure if the negative attention is really going to be worth any upside to adding this feature. Like, at the end of the day, I do have kind of the mindset of who cares? Like, you don't have to pre-order it. I don't think there's any benefits for pre-ordering it, but it's more so just like the principle and the mindset and how they view their fan base. As if they're dumb enough to be pre-ordering a battle pass before it even comes out or before you can even see everything that's in it. And I know there will, of course, be some people that are happy to do that, but is that really going to make up for how much negative attention this is getting? I don't know. You won't catch me pre-ordering a battle pass. It's not like they're going to run out of them or anything. I just don't get it personally, but those are just my thoughts on that. And I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Now that we have some more information for Season 3, how are you feeling about everything? Are you looking forward to Season 3 or maybe not so much? If you enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.